like they had, everything was mortar. Everything was a mortar. No artillery. Everything was mortar. We weren't prepared.
Right.
We went into something that we weren't even prepared. Then they had the Battle of Savo Island, where our Navy got caught by the Japanese fleet, and they beat the shit out of us that time. That beat the
Coral
shit
Sea?
out of us. Huh?
It was the Coral Sea?
No, it was outside the, it was in the Pacific called Savo Island. It was near an island called Savo Island. And they pounded this shit out of us.
Isn't that the one they did
I'm sorry?
John Wayne. Didn't they remake that battle in an old John Wayne movie back in the late 50s? I can't remember the name.
Yeah, what have we done without John Wayne?
Yeah.
Well, the turning battle of the war was the Midway battle.
Yes.
That was we knocked their fleet out.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Did you ever read Winds of War? That was all about.
Winds of War.
Did you read it?
But,
and then
but
War and Remembrance.
But the thing was,
did you like them?
The thing was that we had to show something, I think, to the United States people, that we're not going to sit on our asses.
Right. Well, we had to show the Japanese too. That's why the Doolittle raid.
Well, you figure, I mean, how do you do this? Well, how can you do this? I don't know. You get caught in the excitement. I think your body feels. I mean, when you see them, you're popping away, and you kill people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you probably don't even think that because there's also that sense of survival too.
No, I'm saying that. I'm saying the adrenaline.
Right.
The adrenaline was.
But it's that fight or flight thing where.
Fight or flight.
Yeah, it's like.
Release epinephrine.
Exactly.
What?
It's something. It's in you, and it releases these things.
Well,
where it's like
kind
of like a high kind of thing.
It's a high. It's the adrenaline in your body, and then you sit after it's over. Maybe the whole thing took part maybe a half hour or something,
Right.
and then you sit there and you say, you're numb. You're exhausted.
I'm sure, but it.
You're numb from fright.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're talking. It's something that your body releases these chemicals when you go through that fright or flight. Your body really. It's like when somebody dies, okay, and they're dying, and your family member, and then you say, oh my God. Right. I could see that, but it also has to do with fighting for your life.
I don't even need to think about that.
You're
automated.
Yeah.
You're automated.
But you probably did. I mean, when you've got bullets flying at you,
yeah,
you tell me you didn't think
natural
about
survival instinct.
Exactly.
Yeah, after the survival.
Yeah. Exactly.
But your way of thinking, I can't explain what went on. Anyway, I just had a few weeks ago. So your liberty was at night till 12 midnight. You had to be back 12 midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And so the lieutenant was a tough bastard. He was tough. So one night we went out to Liberty, me and another guy, and we wound up at some girl's house, and nothing, legitimate. We went out, a couple of drinks. We fell asleep there.
Where was this?
In Ogden, Utah. So this guy, we called him Russian. He woke me up. He said, "Hey, Weinstein, in the morning." I said, "Holy shit, we're going to the brig." He says, "I know." He says, "What do we do?" He says, "I tell you what, call the ambulance at the base. Tell them I got a malaria attack to come and get me." It's legitimate, Sure enough, the ambulance came to get me. This is about 12, 14, 16 miles away from the base. Puts me in the ambulance. Get the ambulance, get to the place. You get out, I'm walking. The guy said, the corpsman said, where you going? I said, I'm going back to my bunk. He says, you're going back to your bunk.
You got malaria.
You're going to the hospital. You got malaria. So I get to the hospital, and they got a bed. I fell asleep right away. I was drunk like a son of a bitch anyway. So doctor comes that morning. He said to me, are you the guy that called for the ambulance? You had a malaria attack? I said, yeah. He said, you got no malaria. You know, they took blood from me.
Oh, right.
He said, go back to the headquarters, to your headquarters. I'm calling Lieutenant Leo.
Oh, shit.
Exactly. So I get in front of Lieutenant Leo. I'm up for a sort of a court-martial hearing. He said, Weinstein, you know what you did? You called an ambulance that if somebody was really in trouble and needed the ambulance, they would have gotten the ambulance because they were too busy picking your ass up to bring you back, and you didn't have no malaria. So I know right away he's right. I'm in trouble again.
Wait, couldn't you say, well, it felt like malaria attack?
They took things. You can't outsmart them. Like, then you say, I have a drill instructor. You think you're smart? He said, you guys from New York think it was a platoon at Paris Island made up of all New York guys. He said, you guys, he was a Southerner, you guys from New York, you think you're smart, he said. I went to New York once. I got smart too, so don't try it on me. He was a hell of a nice guy, the drill instructor. Anyway, so Leo got me there, and next to Leo was the master sergeant of the outfit. And he said, you're going to the brig. I said, no, Lieutenant. I am not going to the brig. He said, yeah. I said, yeah, I'm not. And I'm inching towards the door. Don't ask me what was in my head. I ain't going to run away. Where the hell am I going to run? And I said, I am not going to the brig, Lieutenant. So the master sergeant bends down and he's whispering into Lieutenant Leo Veal. And after that, I said, all right, Weinstein, you're on into the barracks. You cannot leave for liberty until you discharge. You stay here. Fair enough, you know. He became my best friend, the lieutenant.
Really?
I used to pass, I said, good afternoon, Lieutenant. He said, hey, Weinstein, did you need anything? You need anything? I said, no, I'm fine. Anyway, called me in. My discharge is there. And he says, Weinstein, he says, you're a character, he says. But on this discharge for character, I'm putting down excellent. And so he said to me, I'm going overseas soon. I want 10 men like you.
Wow.
I said, you have 10 headaches. And I saluted him, thanked him, and they took me to the train, and I was off to go to New York.
So whatever happened to him, do you know?
Huh?
Whatever happened to him?
He got killed.
He did.
I ran in, when I was working downtown in the store, I had uniforms and all, and one of the guys was with the sniper, and I hugged him, and, he became a lieutenant, this guy. He was good. He was damn good. He really was. He was a leader. And I asked him if he knew anything about Lieutenant Leonard. He said, yes, he said he got killed. I think he got killed on Ewell.
And where?
On Ewell somewhere.
What?
Ewell.
Oh.
But
was that what it was like in the 50s, where you just ran into military people all the time?
In the 50s?
Yeah, the 50s, 60s.
This is the 40s.
Yeah, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Well,
bad.
It was something that bonded an entire generation.
Oh yeah. Everybody was your buddy, and like I remember the lieutenant says to me, see this rifle? That you gotta love more than your mother, your wife, your girlfriend, or anybody. You gotta love this and take care of it better than you would take here.
You know, I think in the 40s it was that bonded everybody, and then I think in the 60s it was the anti-war movement.
Well, yeah,
bonded
well, the one
everybody.
that, this was a war that we fought
Yeah,
that was
and it bonded everybody,
Yeah,
and in the
you know,
60s it was anti-war.
You know, I'll tell you something, that they didn't take no shit from you. And you did your job, and if you did your job, you never had any problems or trouble with any of the officers or anything. If you didn't do your job, then you're going to hear from them. Like, after Lenny was hurt, after Lenny was hurt, they hooked me up with another guy. This guy was an ex-fighter, and his name was Janik, and his nickname was K.O. Janik, and he looked like a fighter. He was also, he wasn't a young guy, and he used to train fighters later on and so forth and so on. So anyway, they hooked me up with K.O. Janik in a foxhole. Well, he drove me the first night out of my mind. In a foxhole, you got two guys. One guy's on watch, the other guy's sleeping. Sleep. Or he sleeps, you're on watch. Now, to look at the jungle, you think that the whole jungle is creeping up on you. So I'm in the process of trying to sleep, and K.O. Janik says to me, "Hey, Weinstein, somebody out there." Oh, shit.
I can imagine what you
It's
must
got-
I mean,
it's
it's gotta be
paranoia.
unbelievable
Everything
fright.
that
I get up,
moves, you're gonna think it's.
Yeah.
I'm looking, I don't see anybody. Try to lay down. So help me God. 10 minutes, Weinstein. He's creeping up on us.
Oh, jeez. I can see the paranoia.
Oh my God.
So
Right on.
I'm in a shit sweat, you know.
What's that?
I'm in a shit sweat. If he gets into the hole, one of us or two of us could be dead. Tail, calm down, will you please? I don't see nobody. And I really did. Then he pulled it on me again. And he said, "Don't you see him? Don't you see him?" So I said, "Yeah, K.O. I see him. Don't bother me now." I lay down.
Put a bullet in him.
That,
I said, sure, here you go.
no, oh no, you couldn't do that. No,
Because then you would.
Then they would know where you are.
no, no, you
So
could-
there really wasn't anybody there. It was just paranoia.
You know, you look at the jungle. If you hear a leaf fall, you
I'll
think that
bet.
there's an army.
I'm
there.
sure.
sure.
I cannot imagine what you felt sitting there in these foxholes.
We're talking about like
You didn't feel
before,
nothing.
before
Oh my God.
you know,
You're
night
mad.
vision and all that shit.
You didn't feel nothing.
You weren't
didn't
scared
feel
out of
nothing.
your mind. When you
You-
heard
yes,
things,
you were scared.
that's what I mean.
But
But when
but
you're scared
to the
24
point
hours a
where,
day, it's just
to the point where
Yeah,
you're scared,
feel
but
it.
Yeah.
then knowing you can't do nothing about it.
Oh my
You
God.
do your job. So it's kill or be killed.
I just can't imagine that.
What was Lenny's rank and full name?
Who?
Lenny.
Vogel. He came from up around Yonkers Way in New York, the
I have
state
tried
of New
so
York.
many times to look for
Yeah, but I
it.
got someone in the Marine.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Remember,
well,
I got
then
two
you might.
kids in the Navy, both with clearance, and one works with.
Ah.
He's
It
in charge
was,
of 50 Marines.
his name
You
is
might need
Leonard.
to look for it.
Leonard Vogel.
Because I've done Google
age
searches
of
and I
about-
can find it.
What was his rank?
Huh?
What was his rank?
Well,
He was
PFC.
the guy that got
PFC.
hurt when they were
And,
together and he got hurt with the sniper thing and
Really could die.
It's a beautiful beach. It was really, the beach was wide when we got there, too fucking wide, because I had to get to the other end, and the ocean was so, that's where I nearly drowned. How about Bougainville?
how did you nearly drown?
Huh?
How did you nearly drown?
Because later on, we started swimming in the water when we got back to beach for R&R, rest and recreation. So we used to swim in the ocean, and I can't swim, so I used to walk out, and then it fell off, and I didn't have footing. You don't laugh. So the guys came out, and they didn't want to get me that way. They got underneath me to push me towards firm bed.
By yourself, you would have drowned.
I went down. Where's this?
Pago Pago.
Huh?
Pago Pago.
Pago. They don't have that little store there no more. How about Bougainville?
How do you spell that?
B-O-U-G-A-I-N.
B-O-U-G, Bougainville.
Bougainville.
B-O-U-G-A-N.
A-I-N.
I got it.
You got it?
Bougainville.
Yeah, Bougainville. That was a small little island. Well, that was small. No, Pago was on Samoa. Oh my God, what on American Samoa? I got it wrong. Pago was on
It was
American
American
Samoa.
Samoa?
Yeah, that's where it was.
I think I've got to take some ibuprofen.
Go ahead, don't wait.
No, I'm not.
This is in Barbados, Bougainville?
No, Bougainville is an island in the Pacific.
Oh, then this is not it.
My friends in the Marine Corps were Mo and Harvey Weiss. They were twins. They were both professional fighters. And then there was another guy, Al Simon. He called himself Al Simon. His name was Simoneski, but he said Simon was Jewish, so the Jewish fans would come in to see him fight. He was good.
They'd root for him.
He was a middleweight. And then there was a young guy, he was older than all of us. He was about 30 years old, Eddie Teixeira. Eddie Teixeira, you ever hear Billy Kahn? He was in his stable, you know what I mean? Fought under his manager. And he had quite a few professional fights. So I was hooked up with these guys. So in a section, they had a regular ring, you know. So I used to put on the gloves and box around.
Who was in the crowd? Other Marines?
Huh?
Who was in the crowd? Other Marines?
Yeah, you know.
You were fighting for the Marine people.
You know, I hung out with these guys, but every month there was what they called a smoker. In other words, every month they put on boxing matches. So there weren't boxing matches. They were hitting each other. No helmets, you know. No. So anyway, there was. The guy that did the promotion was also a Marine. He was an older Marine. And so he promoted the boxing matches every month. And so
I never have this.
Mo and Harvey Weiss got me into it. And they matched me with a kid who was the South Carolina Golden Glove champion in the lightweight division. So they matched me with him. And so Mo and Harvey Weiss was looking out. They were in my corner looking out for me and everything else. And I fought this kid. And it was a 3-rounder, 2-minute round instead of 3-minute round. And I beat him. But he was the golden boy of the promoter, you know what I mean? They gave him the decision. As a matter of fact, the next day, for rifle inspection, the lieutenant was doing the inspecting. He said, "Wonkai, where'd you like to fight?" I said, "Going up the streets of Brooklyn." So he said to me, "You won the fight." He said, I didn't want to be lieutenant. I wasn't going to say, "Well, you was a judge. Why didn't you?" So I didn't say that. Then they hooked me up with Eddie Teixeira. So I fought Teixeira. We had a good boxing. Of course, Teixeira won. You know, he was a pro and all. So I fought him here, and then I fought him again, and again, of course, they gave. So I never won a fight yet. But if you fought in the smoker, if you lost, you got a case of beer. If you won, you got 2 cases of beer. I was always good. I was always good for a case of beer. Anyway, so
really, the other case is for your friends anyway.
Yeah. So then they hooked me again to the third fight with Teixeira, and I didn't know this. But it was in front of officers and their girlfriends and so forth. And Mo and Harvey Weiss was already accepted into special services, Well, special services, you didn't have to go into combat. You put on, you know, you entertained the troops with boxing matches and so forth. So I was hooked up with Eddie Teixeira. And the other two, you know, we'd come out, touch gloves, and box around, you know. So I put my glove out. He pushed it aside and started pummeling me from my head to my toes. I said, holy shit. I grabbed a hold of him. I said, Eddie, what the hell are you doing? It's White, you know, me, Weinstein. He pushed me away, and he started. So I had to go 3 rounds. And believe me, after the 3 rounds, I was hurting from the top of my head to my toes. I said, what the hell happened here? I said, I'm your buddy. So Bowenhog said, well, we didn't tell you this, but we wanted him to look good so he can get in special services. See, Eddie was about 30 years old. He had children and all, so he would look after. I said, why didn't you tell me? I would have laid down in the second round. But,
Oh, God.
and then, one time, the Army and Navy was involved in this one. This was a big match. And so, there was, his name was Heaney, Tom Heaney. He was from New Zealand. He was in charge of these boxing matches. He fought Jack Dempsey for the championship. So he knew, you know. So they were hooking guys up from the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps all together, you see, one bowl of shit. So this black guy says he wants me. So Owen Harvey stepped in. You're not fighting him. You want to fight somebody, you fight me or my brother.
But not,
The black guy backed off. Why did Moe and Harvey tell? This guy was a pro. I mean, a
he
real
would have really
pro.
killed you.
And Moe and Harvey were looking out for me at that time. So I didn't fight that night. But this Al Simoneski, he fought the champion middleweight of the Navy. Well, it was a good Al hit him. I mean, he knocked this guy out. He was out for about 5 minutes. They brought the doctors in. They sort of, he hit him with a right hand, right smack on the butt. And this guy was the Navy champion. So,
talking about the Marine, did you read the Washington Post? Yeah. Okay, a few days ago there was an article that I read, and it was about the Marine Marathon. And he never got he never got
fucking
anything
Colonel
from it.
Lasmet, that son of a bitchin' bastard. Let me tell you the story about Colonel Lasmet. He was the head of battalion headquarters and head of the battalion. I was in battalion headquarters with Lenny. We were both scout snipers. How I got to be a scout sniper, that's another story. We were out in formation one day, and the lieutenant comes out and he says, I'm looking for volunteers for the Intelligence Corps. Then he hit me. That's it, Weinstein. I said, what's what? He said, we'll get in the Intelligence Corps. We'll be behind a desk or in an office. So we raised our hand. We went to Scout Sniper School. Well, that's part of the strategy.
Not good.
Anyway, so we were hit on sort of a flank, you know what I mean? The Japanese came around in rowboats at night and came around and hit that flank. So immediately we were sent out, scout, to find out where the location is so mortars can open up on firing them. So I went with a lieutenant, and then he went with a captain. So we were supposed to meet at a certain place to go back to headquarters and report. The captain comes back, and I said, where's Lenny? He said, well, we don't know yet. What do you mean you don't know yet? Well, the way I find out from the corpsmen around, see, these guys were fantastic, the corpsmen. God bless them, they were fantastic. And they were very brave guys. And the wonder was that somebody mentioned that where Lenny was waiting or something, that they were wounded inside and they can't get in because there's a sniper someplace up there. Well, you know, with Japanese, they had snipers then because it was a death call. You're going to get killed, you see. And so Lenny said, where is it? And they said, and they showed him. So Lenny went in, and to more or less not only get the sniper, but see where wounded, get the wounded out. And so when Lenny was crawling in, the sniper, Lenny was turning around, but the sniper caught him right across the eye. Had a scar from here all the way to about the ear. If he was on a straight path, he would kill him. So he started turning and got caught. He got caught in the shoulder, he got caught in the hip, he got caught in his leg, he got 7 bullets in him. They got him out. And they finally got the sniper, so they were able to get everybody out. Well, that night, you know, I cried. It was my buddy in my foxhole. I lost him.
I'd cry too.
So, anyway, when I got hurt, I wound up finally in a hospital in San Diego. I find out, I don't know how, that Lenny is there.
He's in the same
So-
hospital.
I went to find out where he was. I finally found out where he was. And when I saw him, I'm sorry to say this, I started laughing. He was hooked up from here all the way down in Cass, you know what I mean? Cass. I said, Lenny, that's how I knew. And he had that scar over there. And that's how I knew what happened with him. And then I was shipped out to the convalescent hospital. So I lost touch with him from there on in. He probably got discharged, you know. And this Colonel Asmus was head of our battalion. Now you put up a guy like that for a Bronze Star.
Yes.
Something, you understand? Because he
But he
showed
was
terrific
Jewish.
bravery, you understand? But he didn't. So anyway.
Because he was Jewish?
Well,
Lenny was Jewish.
yeah, but that didn't help
No.
that he was Jewish. Come on.
Now, this Colonel Asmus, let me tell you a story about that. One time, we were in combat, of course, and of course, the scouts are put out for, how should I say, in the outer perimeter, sort of listening post, you understand? Well, it was a lull in combat, so some guys took a book out, and I took a book out. The book was Wuthering Heights. I still remember the book.
Oh, you'll never forget.
Because the Red Cross used to give you, when you went on boat, you'd give you a little bag, we used to call it a ditty bag. There was a book, some cigarettes, some candy, so forth.
A war goodie bag.
So anyway, I'm reading the book, and somebody grabbed me by the shoulder. And I turned around real quick, you know, and it was this captain, and Kuntz, Captain Kuntz, Kuntz. And so he said, Weinstein, what are you out here for? I said, well, you know, it's this listening post. He said, you know, if I was a Japanese, I would have slit your throat, and that would have left an opening for to be infiltrated because
He
of
was
your
right.
stupidity, you know. So he left. I said, fuck you. Well, the next day, I get some guys come out and they say, hey, Weinstein, what the hell did you do? I said, why? Boy, the colonel's hopping mad. Well, I went before the colonel. He said, Weinstein, were you out listening? I said, yeah. He said, were you reading a book? I said, yeah. Captain Kuntz caught you, didn't he? Yeah. He said, do you know I could have a court-martial right now and have you sentenced to be shot to death?
Can you believe that? Yeah. Yeah.
He's right.
For telling the colonel to fuck himself?
I didn't
No,
know.
because you
for
can't-
reading the book
Reading the book.
on his listening post.
Now, he was right. I could have been court-martialed right there, and because I endangered the troops.
The troops.
Yeah.
He said, well, I'll give you a chance. He said, I'm going to
I think I
put you
heard that
out
story.
150 yards or 100 yards past the front lines overnight without your weapon. If tomorrow morning, if you're there, we'll send out guys to bring you back. And I started crying, you know.
The Japanese
You
are
know,
around. He's going to
so-
be on the...
They took me out, and there was a Captain Crawford who was head of a squad, you know, like more or less a platoon, you know. He was the nicest guy you could know. He got killed, by the way. And Captain Crawford said, well, where you guys going with Weinstein? And they told him. He said, you gotta be kidding. I said, wait a minute. He called up Colonel Atman. I got Weinstein here. Okay. Take him out there. So they put me out there. What am I gonna do out there without a weapon?